right, good morning, and I am Miss Lee. Fun fact, Mrs. Geldenhuys and I actually have the same surname now. So I've got Mrs. Geldenhuys with us. She's the head of the school, and I've got some of our podcast club kids. So we've got Roxy, Gianna, Antonia, and Megan. If everyone can quickly just introduce themselves. Oh, and here comes Mrs. Stradom as well. Hi, ma'am.
We just started. Thanks for joining. Okay, I will go first. I'm Ms. Geldenhuys. I'm the head of the school. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's a privilege to see all of you and to have this talk with you guys. Ms. Strydom, you can introduce yourself quickly.
I'm Mrs. Carla Strydom. I teach history and tourism for FET and also history for grade 8 to 9 and 7.
Okay. Who wants to go first?
Okay, I can go first. Hi there, my name is Megan. Well, Megan Hendricks, I guess, because you see my surname. I'm a grade 11 student, and I'm happy to be here.
Awesome.
Thanks, Megan.
Are we going to rock, paper, scissors between Roxy?
I'll go next, ma'am. Hello, I'm Roxy LaRue. I'm a grade 10 student. I'm recently gotten into photography, so I thought I'd sharpen my skills by being in this extramural.
Wow. Gianna, Antonia, who's going to be first?
Hi, I'm Gianna and I'm a grade 11 student and I'm more than ecstatic to be here.
Awesome. And then Antonia is like so shy.
Hi, my name is Antonia Kobanis. I am in grade 11 and I'm in the Media and Podcast Club. And thank you so much for having us here.
Okay, so essentially what we are doing today is we're talking a little bit about our club and what we do. And Mrs. Geldenhuys was a bit like, she was asking me what it is that we do and what it is that, you know, the expectations that are set from you guys, right? So we have got like people who speak. So at the moment, it's just the teachers. We would love it if we could have a face, you know, for our podcast. But we also have research. We've got like, you know, pictures that we make, anything that's on social media. Is there anyone who wants to talk about what they do as their role in the podcast club?
Let me quickly ask a question, Megan, just before you go. Why did you guys decide on joining the podcast club? What was the thing that attracted you most? Why did you want to join? Yes, Megan?
So I wanted to join the podcast club because from a super young age, I've always had the passion of media, and I've always wanted to know like what really goes in, like when you see these posts and what goes in for these podcasts and stuff. And I'm also quite a shy person. Like, it takes me some time to like talk to people and stuff. So this is also a way to kind of break out of my shell and like push myself more to talk more and stuff.
Wonderful. Roxy, Gianna, Antonia?
Antonia?
At first, I was a little intimidated, I won't lie, about the title of media and podcast, because what you associate podcast is just talking, but I didn't understand the aspect of I could be in the background doing the writing, doing the visuals. So when I decided to come here as like a practice. So I joined here as a practice just to see what goes on in Media and Podcast Club. Then I kind of got an idea after joining and having that practice, seeing that I could do so much more in this club. I'm also a person who's very interested in marketing and anything around social media. So I thought maybe this could be a good opportunity for me to build my skills and to just see what goes on, just as Megan said, what goes on around marketing and so on. We also consume a lot of social media throughout our days. So seeing the behind the scenes, what goes into it is very interesting to me. So yeah.
Wonderful. Who's going to go first, Gianna or Roxy?
Gianna?
I joined media and podcast because I wanted to try something new. I was always like an active and sporty person and never actually like paid attention to the things that are like literally something I sit on every day and like all the time. So when I joined media and podcast, I was very like interested in how this works, and I actually did like two projects with ma'am, which were very amazing, and I learned like so much from that, and it gave me a little bit more like of an insight of what's going on behind everything.
Wonderful.
That's awesome.
Roxy?
Okay, so I joined Media Club after I saw this one post about it was one post that made me think, I could actually maybe join with my photography. So I messaged Ram and she said, yeah, she would love to let me join and everything. So I thought, okay, this would be lovely to share my photos, get my name out there, and become a bit more professional in the like photographer ground. So I thought that would be lovely to join the media club to do that.
Roxy, would you be okay with me quickly sharing the photos that you just sent me?
Yeah, sure, I don't mind.
Okay, so Roxy does photography on the side, and we thought that it actually closes quite a big gap that we have in the club, especially for Facebook. It's so nice to have people who've got like the coolest hobbies. But these are some of the photos that Roxy has taken. How pretty is that? Oh,
Oh, that's nice.
that's beautiful.
Why is it always that a white horse is called blue? It's like a trend going in life. If you've got a white horse, his name is Blue.
It's like so pretty. So there we've got
Wonderful.
that. Do we want to talk about any of the projects that we've recently worked on?
But Mr. Force, why did you
Yes.
start the podcast?
Why did I start the
Club?
podcast?
What was in your mind? What was behind it? Let me know first before you go there.
Okay. So essentially what this podcast club is supposed to do is to give the kids real life skills, right? Because when you leave school, it's often you sort of thrown into the deep end and then you've left school, you don't have any skills behind your name, you don't have anything on your CV. So what happens in Podcast Club is you're going to work, right? But it's not bad work. It's fun work according to your time, according to what you enjoy doing. And then as you age out with us, you're going into the real world with work experience that you can put on your CV, firstly, and you get a letter of recommendation that says, okay, this person has worked. These are the projects that they've worked on. This is the stuff that they are capable of doing, so on and so forth. So that when you go and look for employment, you have got something to be like, look, I did this in school. So where like a normal school will have like the newspaper club or the media club or whatever, we have media and podcast club. We are online. So you've got to sort of think about how can you take something that a brick and mortar school has and make it a proper, like something that you could see online. And that is the whole premise of this club. You guys are supposed to leave here with things that have actually helped you, with real life experience that you can start thinking now, what do I want to do when I grow up? So you're not just learning the skill stuff, right? In terms of, oh, this is how you write or do research or whatever. You're actually learning Microsoft Office skills. You are actually learning how to use AI properly and not in the sense of, oh, I'm just going to go and like plagiarize something. You're doing research to figure out things. You are doing, you're making use of Canva. You're talking about SEO words before you even post anything. Everything has got to actually be trending. So you can't just go and make a post and expect it to work. You have to think about what you are posting. So it's all of the different types of skills in terms of writing, speaking to people, even communication that you are learning in this club, which is going to help you in various different aspects when you leave school. So that is part of the reason I started this club.
And how did you get to the brainwave? I mean, you actually had a choice of so many clubs. How did you decide on, let's do this one? What was the main thing behind that?
It was mostly a thing of, okay, so Mr. Patel, our CEO, is very into, and a lot of the brainstorms that we have is how do we take a club and turn it into a project, and since like I've started here 3 years ago, it's always been about experiential learning. So you can't just like expect someone to learn something by reading, whatever. They actually have to experience what it is. And that is sort of where this brainwave came from. So it's a thing of, okay, gamification, very important for Campus of Things. For the teachers that work here, I mean, every single teacher I know for a fact plays games in their class, okay? Then it was a thing of, okay, now we've got the gamification down. Perfect. Now we got to talk about projects, right? What are they actually learning from the projects? And this is part of the training that I've been doing with the teachers as well, especially in terms of, intervention and those types of things. So it comes down, or it boils down to, there won't be a need for those things if it is experiential. There's a physical aspect to learning. And that is where that came from. Like, that's part of the reason I started as well, Podcast Club, because of that.
Wonderful. Ms. Strydom, why did you join in? Like, I know you have done a few podcasts with Mr. Force. Why did attract you to it?
I think it's interesting because I watch like Facebook videos of like board teachers, and they talk about like educational things about their classes, so this is a bit different, but it's still interesting in that fact that these are now students speaking about their experiences, and life as educators are difficult, and then we learn a bit more about the kids side of things with school and stuff like that.
Wonderful. I think now the next question is, tell me more about your first session. How awkward was it to get into a room with different people saying, I'm shy, I want to be part of this, but how did you manage to get from that first session, and how was the first session up until now where things is running smoothly? It's like excitement. You can't wait to get to the club. I can't wait to hear what you guys are busy doing. And I was excited that Mr. Force at long last asked me to join the club. I was like, I also want to be part of this fun. So tell me about the first session and obviously how you got through the first session up until now.
Megan, your turn.
Oh my. So I didn't necessarily have do an interview yet. I prefer to do the background stuff. So I remember like when I first did the research, I still did it on the gaming podcast, and I was like, oh my goodness, what do I even talk about? Like, is this gonna sound good? Like, I was overthinking to the brim. When I tell you to the brim, I was like, whole time I was like, what am I gonna do? And then eventually I just sat down, I logged in, and I was talking to my group and stuff, and we ended up getting it done. So, and then I just realized that it's not that like difficult, or you shouldn't overthink it that much, because at the end of the day, it will work out. So, yeah, that was my first experience.
And what else? So yesterday it was actually so funny. I forgot that we had Podcast Club. Megan sent me a message. She's like, ma'am, you're not normally late. Are you okay? And I was like, whoops. Because we had our first, sorry. Sorry, guys. We had our first business meeting yesterday to discuss scaling and how we're going to do more stuff and whatever. And so, I had all of the kids there, and we were talking about like, okay, what do we do to make this thing more interesting? Also, like, where are the gaps that we need to fill? And Megan, who loves the research, eventually said, you know what, ma'am, I'll be willing to talk. And I'm like, finally, it's been weeks, And then Antonia was also like, okay, but ma'am, me too. Gianna and Roxy, well, Roxy wasn't there, but Gianna was also like, eventually, like, actually, ma'am, I would be willing to learn. And I think there's been such a cool mind shift from when we started, because in the beginning, everyone was like too shy. They wouldn't even like talk. And now it's like you join the club and then everyone's just talking about whatever. We've got now a WhatsApp group where we're communicating a little bit more, so we've come a long way, I think. Okay. How do you guys feel about this? What I'm saying?
I think that's true. Like I defo at the start, I was like, I'm not talking. I'm not gonna be an interviewer. I'm not gonna get asked any questions. I'm not doing this. And then after a while, I realized like it's actually not that bad. Like I just needed a few like time to realize like it's actually okay and I can do it. So yeah, defo helped me grow it a lot. Like I wouldn't even be talking now. Like I'm super, super shy. Like I'm surprised that this is even happening.
Yeah, you guys could have.
Yes, how cool is that, hey? Antonio, Joanna, Roxy, give me your 5 cents. How did you feel day one? How do you feel now?
Well,
Joanna?
ma'am, day one, when I first joined, ma'am asked me if I'm here to be serious. Hmm. And I said, yes, I am. And it was so threatening, ma'am. I was like so scared of ma'am. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a while, like a long time to me for to adapt and actually be comfortable in this environment. But like seeing all of my like classmates and things, participating in things, it made me like really motivated to like talk and do research and try new things. And now I'm like, I feel like I've improved a lot with like using a laptop and doing those kind of things. Now it's very, I feel more interested in these kind of things.
Gianna, would you be comfortable with me sharing? Gianna, it was you that sent me the Freedom Day stuff, eh? No, it was Karuna. I keep getting myself confused here. Sorry about that. But yeah, Gianna, I just want to share something about Gianna. When she first came in, she was so shy. And it was like, okay, guys, we've got to be serious. And then I could actually see, from like the lack of response, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm being too strict. But at the same time, the pride that I feel because Gianna then will come and then she'll ask questions. Where at first it was like a thing of she was not sure how to ask questions. Now she'll ask questions like, oh, ma'am, I'm not too sure about this, or I'm not too sure about that. And I'm actually so proud of the growth there.
How wonderful is that? Roxy, I've got a question for you. Knowing that you've been doing photography like on the sideline and not shown it to the school, not to the teachers, how did you get yourself to the point where you are able to share it with them and also to bring yourself to a club and say, listen, this is what I've got, this is what I can add value, or this is how I can add value, and will you be willing to accept me part of this? Was it difficult for you to like jump in and say, listen, I'm going to be part of this?
It wasn't too difficult since my mom is very supportive of our photography, and she's the one that's been saying, advertise on Facebook if I can go to events and just take photos for free to like get used to taking photos. Because I've just started. I've literally just started. So it hasn't been hard for me to ask people and go out there and take photos, and especially come to here. This the media club feels very homey, so it doesn't feel like a lesson at all. So I've been very comfortable sharing my photography here and giving my experience or saying what I want to learn from here and stuff like that.
Wonderful. Guys, how does this make you feel? Do you feel like you are becoming part of a family? It's a safe space where you can actually brainstorm ideas. How do you get the courage to say, listen, I want to speak about this topic? How do you get to the specific topics and how does this club make you feel? Antonia, I want to hear from you now.
At first, like everyone said, it was a very nerve-wracking start. But the more Mrs. DeForce wanted our input and asked us our opinions, it made us feel, I'm pretty sure I can speak for all of us, that we were being included in something and that whatever we said would be taken into account and made a plan of. So when we have our business meetings, like Mrs. DeForce calls them, we all talk and get our ideas out, and I think that's what makes the club more student like students are
Friendly.
it can make it relatable for students, and I think that's what's special that we have in this club, and I think it's a very just good opportunity to get a teacher's perspective and then a student's perspective, and it just all comes together and we form something amazing, in my opinion.
How wonderful is that? Gianna, you have said now in your previous answer that there was 2 different big projects that you guys worked on. So can you tell me a little bit more about the project? What did you guys do?
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I recently worked on a research project, which was like actually a first time, actually really interesting. It made me feel more like I'm being used to like a lot of things like with me, and I did it actually in like 2 days, and I was really proud of myself. It was on study methods, and doing research, it actually made me feel like, oh, I'm a smart kid now. Oh, I know things. Like I can do this. And I worked on that, and before that, I worked on visuals, which was also the first time I ever used Canva. It's really interesting, like how you grow into these things when you start off something, and you can learn so much about like these things that are just a background in your media. It's really interesting, man.
Yeah. And Megan, you were also helping on that study methods research, hey?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit about the process? Because you've done 2 now, so why exam prep needs to begin early, and then you also did another one for the study methods. Obviously, you did the YouTube one as well. So what is the process that you guys follow?
So the first thing we do, we first talk to each other and we'll be like, okay, what do you first think about this? So she will maybe say, okay, I think this, this, and this about study methods. And I'll be like, okay, I think this, and that. Then we agree on a part like, okay, we're gonna talk about this and how it impacts, like almost like interlinking the topics with each other. So that's the first thing we do. And then we just start writing it out. And then once we're done, we send it to each other and we'll be like, okay, I think you can change this. And then she can look at mine and be like, okay, I can change this. And then we can try and make it seem more like flow in one, like flowy into one another. And then we send it to Mr. Force, of course.
Okay, so I just want to show you guys as well something from your research that you guys put together. Okay. Now there's a tool that I use every now and then. It's called Notebook LM. Have you guys heard of it before?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so what it does is it can make slideshows, okay? And I want to show you guys what your research is capable of doing, and this is how good you guys have become at it. Let's have a look. Right. So here is your research on a slideshow.
That
How
looks so
cool.
professional.
How cool is that, hey? So I do
That's
believe that you guys have been
ma'am.
doing such a good job.
Yes, how amazing is that?
Like, how cool is that, guys? So I just also wanted to share that with you today. We
I
are,
think, sorry.
sorry, ma'am, we are running out of time now.
Just
So
hold on. Before you close down, I've got a challenge for them, okay? For you guys as well, for all of the podcast club, okay? I want you guys to go. Obviously, you are in an online school, you are in the online environment. You started something nice. It's actually a brick and mortar thing, like an afternoon club or somewhere where you can go to, but you brought it online and you started working as a team and you started something great. So I want you guys to go back and then obviously do a bit of research, but I want you to put something together, but not just like something. It needs to be like a slideshow like Mr. Force just had, with a voice over, with photos in it, like a whole video of at least say 5 minutes where you guys now sell Campus of Things, sell the online school to the world. Why is it important to go to an online school? What can we provide the outside world, which is not from the inside? You understand? Give them inside info. What are we doing differently than what everyone else is doing? How can you actually bring the brick and mortar school online, and how can you still have fun? I mean, you guys don't see one another, but you actually became friends through it. You became partners. You can actually trust one another. You build a relationship with the teacher, obviously with one another as well. So I want you to go back and then you put together, I think 5 minutes might be a little bit long, say 3 minutes. 3 minutes showcasing of what makes Campus of Things different, but also why online would be a great option. Okay, so that's my challenge for you guys. You can take as long as you need, but put effort into it, okay, so that we can showcase what you guys are busy doing. I mean, Mr. Foss just showed us now. So that's my challenge for you guys. And then obviously we will definitely meet up again and then we can take it from there. Sorry, Mr. Foss.
Yes, so on closing notes, that is definitely a project that we can start implementing in term 4, because we actually do our media in terms of what's going on in the year, right? So next term, we've got 2 very big projects going. We want to have some parents reach out to us.
Wonderful idea.
So that we can talk about careers, because remember, from next term, it's going to be grade 9, subject choices.
Subject choices.
And then the teachers are going to have to be involved from next term, because our kids are going to start interviewing them to find out what happens in their subjects. So we've got 2 very, very large projects coming up next term. Are you guys excited about it?
Yes, I can't wait.
I'm also excited about the one topic especially, or actually both of them. I want parents to be involved, but I think also to get the teacher point of view and then ask the hard questions. Why do you do it this way? Why do we need to do it this way? What do you see behind the scenes? Why are you so strict? Because if I hand the paper in now, why do I have to hand it in now? So that they can also explain the processes behind the scenes, what we need to go through on our side. It's not just like a submission, what's happening behind the scenes, and from the how do you say, the start of a question paper all the way what the question paper goes through to be able to get to your screen, and then obviously when you upload it, what process does it need to go through, so that you guys also understand the workflow from the teacher's part, and that we can all take hands in one big thing moving forward. You understand? So I'm definitely looking forward to it, but please note down my request and put it on term 4 so that you guys can, obviously we can actually use it as marking material as well moving forward. So it would be very nice if you can add it to it.
Okay. Thank you so much, everybody, for your time. Mrs. Stradom, do you have anything to say before we close off? You're all happy? Okay,
Yes.
cool. Thank you so much. And then, yeah, we'll see you guys.